Hey, welcome to Covers' NHL Prop with Inglis and Coco, where one of us has dropped the mitts with Cal Clutterbuck, and the other one is me who just drops the ball. I'm your co-host, Josh Inglis, betting analyst for Covers, and joined by 14-year NHL vet and NHL analyst Carlo Colaiacovo. What is up, Coco?
What's up, my man? It is Saturday, and I am
Right. Oh, we are prefacing this with last game. We went 1-2, but we think we probably should have had some better luck. The Matthews hook. And, Jack Eichel just dropping a ball on us in Buffalo.
Yeah, he was complaining about the fans being too loud. I guess they were cheering for him. I don't know what went on. But, look, I think we're on the verge of a breakout here because it's the end of a week. You know, it's Saturday. There's a big slate, but it was your birthday. It was my son's birthday, and now it's your son's birthday today too. So why not give us some nice birthday presents to spend some money on?
Absolutely, and we start things.
Birthday luck today.
Obviously, luck. Yeah. Let's pad the pockets today. Starting in Montreal, Seattle and Montreal, and we are looking at Brandon Gallagher under 2.5 shots at -125. Montreal is coming back home. They've been on the road since February 26th. 5 games. Could this possibly be a big letdown spot for Montreal? As I'm sure, you know, they were going on such a run there. They had this trip probably circled on the calendar, and they probably don't have this game versus the Kraken circled. So is this a big letdown spot for Montreal?
Yeah, letdown spot. I know I was playing every time you came off an extended road trip like that. The first game back was always back into the routine and with a different time zone with your families and stuff like that. And as good as Montreal has been under Martin St. Louis, and they have been up until the last game, they were winners of 7 of 8. But I tend to feel this would be a little bit of a sluggish game for Montreal, coming back down to earth, because just like every team experiences when they get a coaching change, it's that new coach bump. But what sort of plays against Montreal in their favor here is that they haven't been able to sustain their momentum. This is going to be their second game in 1 week, and part of the reason why they were able to stay so hot is because they were able to stay consistent with their momentum game after game, playing every other night. So I feel like them returning home, knowing that they're playing an expansion team, which plays a factor too, because not only are you looking at the game, you're looking at who you're playing. I feel like this is a spot right now that Montreal could be skating in quicksand tonight, playing a little slower than they're expected than usual. But then you look at Seattle too. There's a lot of inspiration. This is their last game of a 5-game road trip where they head home after the game. They're 0-4 on the road. They lost in overtime last game in a comeback effort from Ottawa. I think there's going to be a little bit inspiration behind their game to leave the road trip with a win. And, that's why I expect tonight to be, we're looking at the Brendan Gallagher under. This is a guy who's playing a checking role, plays net front most part on the PP, doesn't get much 5-on-5 time. So you got to like the value you're getting here at under 2.5 shots.
Exactly. And Seattle, they may be a bottom feeding team, but they've just been victim of bad goaltending pretty much all season. They actually sit second in the league in shots allowed. This is a team that really keeps shots away from their goalie. Top half the league in expected goals against, hits, blocked shots. So this Seattle team can really minimize shots. A good shot suppressing team. And with the run of the second line, even with Lehkonen getting hot in that last game, we saw the Brendan Gallagher checking line only play 7 minutes at 5-on-5, and they played awful. They only had 2 shot attempts in that whole game, gave up 4 shot attempts. So maybe Marty St. Louis not too hot on that line. And as you said, this team is due for regression. They're obviously playing over their head. And like you said, the coach bump, how big is that going into this game?
Well, look, they've clearly been a better team since Marty St. Louis took over. I do their games. So, I've seen the difference in their play. But just like in life, all good things come to an end and all good things balance themselves out. And I think this is the part of the schedule where that could potentially play itself out.
Nice. Gallagher getting just 59% of his shot attempts on net, so he's not even getting a lot of his stuff through, missing the net, getting stuff blocked. has played under 15 minutes in 5 of his last 6 games. So he's not even high up on the list, and he could see less ice time if Montreal is playing from behind.
Right.
Like we said, they might be, and he might have to lean more on that the top 2 scoring lines. So we like this. Gallagher under 2.5 shots at the price there as we bring up the covers prop pick. And this is where we're finding these numbers. This is a great comparison tool. As we can see, there are much worse prices on this. So this is a great tool for finding value in many props because the prop markets are kind of, the variance is high and they're all over the board. So we can find this minus 125 here and as low as minus 165 in other places. So this is a great prop, and we like Gallagher under 2.5 shots. Boom, switching gears, jumping over to Detroit versus Calgary. And this is a game that might not have a lot of people excited, but we could actually see quite a few goals in this game. And we are liking Moritz Seider over 0.5 assists and an incredible price of plus 150. Calgary is hosting Detroit tonight, likely going with Ladar, but we don't know. And they need to travel to Colorado tomorrow for what people are calling the biggest matchup in the West. Calgary versus Colorado right now. Is this a spot where the Flames could easily not be giving enough respect to Detroit, a team that has scored 4 or more goals in 6 of their last 11 games, Coco?
This is one of my favorite games on the board in Jingles, because you just look at the fact that you might see goals galore in this game. And we just, you touched about Moritz Seider. He's been one of the surprise rookies all year in the NHL because he's a defenseman, in the conversation. And I believe he's 4th in scoring for rookies, and he's a defenseman. But you talked about the goals they score. They give up an average of 4 goals a game. They give up an average of 5 goals a game, and they're scoring an average of 4 goals a game. So, you like the potential for goals here. You talked about the matchup for Calgary and Colorado. This could be a potential look-ahead game, right, where you're looking forward to tomorrow instead of focusing on your opponent tonight. So I see a lot of scoring in this game, and especially if Detroit's trailing, look for Moritz Seider to pile up, the offensive rushes on the offensive chances, 4th man on the rush to help us cash in on this over half assists on the total. And the good thing about, I played with Moritz Seider as a young 15-year-old in Germany, and I saw the potential in this kid. But the one thing I really like about his game is that when he gets the puck in the offensive zone, he's not shy to throw pucks at the net. And how do you get your points? You throw pucks at the net. And this guy's clearly figured it out, which, again, gives him more value at achieving this prop that we're liking right now.
Nice. And right now, obviously, goalie's not confirmed. They're just getting on the ice right now for their morning skate. But Daryl Sutter's been flip-flopping his goalies. Dan Vladar's playing every other game right now as he tries to rest, as Sutter tries to rest Jacob Markstrom down the stretch, which is probably a smart move. But Dan Vladar, last 6 starts, he's allowed 23 goals and at least 3 in 5 of those. He's 6-1 to the over in his last 7 starts. Moritz Seider is a betting favorite for the Calder, and you know what I mean? There's a reason why he's the betting favorite. It's so difficult for young defensemen to pick up the game so quickly, as we've seen with other top prospect, top number 2, number 3 picks. They just can't pick it up as fast. Right. That's not the case for this man. 15 assists last 19 games, 9 assists last 9 games. He's not a goal scorer, but this is why we love the over assist. Plus 150. You've actually played with him overseas, like you said, in Germany. Is a big matchup going to shy the young kid away from producing tonight?
No, I don't think so. I think this is a matchup that he looks forward to. He always is a guy that embraces the competition. I mean, for a young guy who looks a little brittle with his frame, plays a big man's game. You see some of the big hits that he's laying out. You've seen some of the scrums that he gets. He's not afraid to mix it up. I actually think he welcomes this challenge of playing against some of the best in the league because he is so young. And as a young player, when you're embracing that just helps elevate your game. And you want to stand out in those moments. And I would imagine, because it's going to be a Hockey Night in Canada game, he's going to rise to that. He's going to want to rise to that occasion as well. Because he plays in Detroit on an average team, maybe he thinks that not many people are talking about him, but this is a prime opportunity for him to stand out and get more people talking about him. and help, at least encourage, people that are thinking about him potentially win the Calder, which I can tell you right now, he's a strong candidate for.
Yeah, that it's nice to know that he's not going to be scared of that Milan Lucic forecheck. So that's a scary thing. And another cool thing here, Mark Stahl playing in his 100th game or 1000th game. So those things. Those things fire up the boys sometimes.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's probably getting a Rolex. They're probably giving him something before the game, and everybody knows it.
Money on the board for 1000th game tonight.
Awesome. Yeah, so we really like Mort Sider here, over 0.5 assists, plus 150. Fantastic price. And we're getting greedy on this game. We're double dipping because there's no reason not to get away from this Calgary top line. As you mentioned, Detroit giving up a ton of goals of late. Elias Lindholm, over 0.5 assists at even money. This Calgary top line of Tkachuk, Lindholm, and Gaudreau has 56 total points in the last 12 games for Calgary. That is absolutely incredible. And Elias is doing both things: 11 goals, 10 assists, last 15 games. Vladar should keep the Flames, if he's in net, keep the Flames in attack mode and the big boys on the ice. Like I said, Detroit giving up 5.2 goals against in their last 30 days. Should we expect anything different from this line tonight? As it seems Sutter seemingly runs this line out every other shift and even in lopsided scores.
Well, Sutter has proven why he's one of the best coaches in the league, because he understands his team. And he understands his team because of the way the top line is playing. They're going to go as far as their top line leads them. And it reminds me of a team that's eerily similar that he coached in LA that I played against a lot during my time in St. Louis, where they won 2 Stanley Cups, relied heavily on their top players, and was a really balanced team throughout that had, really big, mean guys to play against on the back end and incredible goaltending, which is exactly what we're seeing the blueprint in Calgary. So I expect no different tonight. Elias Lindholm is having a career year right now, playing in the middle between Gaudreau and Tkachuk. And the way these guys are racking up points, they're the 5th highest scoring team in the league, and they're playing against one of the teams that gives up the most amount of goals. You got to like his chances of not just scoring, but hitting the score sheet with maybe not just 1 assist, but a couple.
Yeah, and it's a lot easier, obviously, when you're the pivot on the line, the pivot for the power play 1 unit, and facing the 3rd worst PK in hockey. So It could be point night. It could be point night for the Flames.
I circle this board. I circle this game, and we like the points in this game. So you got to like the total as well, too, at 6.5, because it's going to be goals galore.
Nice. Johnny Hockey obviously coming off that hat trick. They'll hopefully keep feeding him. He's hot. Elias Lindholm over 0.5 assists at even money is a steal. And then a nice little nightcap here, Tampa Bay at Edmonton. I mean, things coming into this game, things could be looking quite different if Edmonton didn't pull out that win over Washington. But we're liking Connor McDavid over 1.5 points at plus 118. Like I said, the Oilers coming off that big OT win versus the Caps, while the Bolts have dropped 2 straight and are playing their 3rd game of a cross-country 6-game road trip with the Canucks on deck tomorrow. This is a veteran team in Tampa Bay, but this is not a great spot for the Bolts tonight. T-Bay's given up 20 goals over its last 5 games. Coco, question to you. How hard are these road trips at this point of the season, especially with the packed schedule and Tampa having played a ton of hockey over the last 2.5 seasons?
Yeah, and look, if you look across the NHL and what this last week has presented itself, there's been goals galore. And the reason for that is because you have to think that most players, and especially most goalies that have had great success early on in the year, are hitting some sort of wall. And just look at the last 3 games, all on the road with Vasilevsky in net, who is by far the best goalie in the league. They've given up on average 3.5 goals a game. Leak in their team right now. They're still finding ways to score goals. They're still finding ways to get wins. They're coming off of a hard loss, like you said, against Calgary. This game, it's best on best. You got 2 of the best players in the world in McDavid and Draisaitl that represent Edmonton Oilers. You got Kucherov, Point, Stamkos, Hedman, and Vasilevsky in Tampa Bay. I expect the stars to shine, and in one of those stars, like we just mentioned, the prop that we like, Connor McDavid, and not just because Connor McDavid is hands down one of the best players in the game. There's been a lot of talk about him and Austin Matthews this week because of what Austin Matthews is doing and how much that gap is closed. But just look at the scoring race right now. Connor McDavid is a guy that gets motivated to be the best and to produce at the best pace. He's trailing Jonathan Huberdeau right now. So you have to think that he's looking at that scoring race, entering the tonight, knowing who he's playing against to raise his game to another level. And when we see Edmonton score, we usually see Connor McDavid factor in a lot of the goals they score. And I expect no different tonight.
Yeah, we're just not throwing money at Connor McDavid just because he's Connor McDavid. This is a great spot for him. Like we said, in the middle of a point race for the Art Ross, a playoff battle, facing two-time Stanley Cup winners at home ice. Exactly. How much do you expect Connor McDavid to step up, while also huge thing for McDavid in this game, especially versus Braden Point and Tampa Bay, getting last change at home too.
Yeah, and that's a great point you bring up, because obviously they're going to want to try to keep him away from Hedman in that matchup, and Braden Point in their top line. So you got to think and look at offensive zone faceoffs where maybe on an icing, or maybe they see their third line out. You're throwing the McDavid line out there, maybe with Draisaitl alongside him to help push the offense, to help keep the puck tilted on the offensive side on the ice in Tampa Bay, and just continue to put the pressure on that team, because you want to get to Tampa Bay early in this game, because the longer they go, they've got a knack of just hanging on, and then finding ways to win at the end. And that's what great teams do. That's why they're a great team this year. That's why they've been able to be Stanley Cup champions back-to-back, is because they find ways to win. So the quicker you can get them out of their game by making them trail and play from behind, the better chance you have of success, and the better chance maybe a guy like Connor McDavid can have more chances, because now Tampa Bay has to open up their defensive structure to chase the game.
Absolutely. And this road trip, like we said, they haven't been great. The Bulls are obviously a better team at home. I mean, they gave up 2 5-on-5 goals to the Flames' top line in the last game, and the Jets' top line combined for 8 total points in the 7-4 Winnipeg game. Nice. So they've struggled to shut down teams' top line over. McDavid is carrying this team.
Connor McDavid at plus money here. That's tremendous value to score 2 points,
especially coming off an OT winner.
Right?
Yeah. So
he's feeling it.
And every time, this is the crazy thing, every time he's hit the score sheet in his last 8 games, it hasn't been 1 point. It's been at least 2 points. Wow. So we're not talking 1 point McDavid. You might as well go for it at 1.5 plus 118 Connor McDavid. That wraps up our amazing Saturday board. Big fan of this slate. Love the double dip in the Calgary game. And that will do it for us on Covers This Puck Prop. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Let us know what you think in the comments. He's Carlo Colaiacovo. I'm Josh Ingles. This is Covers. Lead us out, Coco.
Have a great Saturday. May the winners be yours, and bang in some fingers.